angry passenger there. The only reason why most of the passengers have lost their cool is because the airline has completely shut down on information. In fact, over the last 3 days, this is the 4th day when this crisis has only accelerated. Now, the question here is that why is it that the airline does not feel the need to communicate to the passengers? Because many of them who are basically standing in these long queues are basically because they have no information about the status of their flight, number one. Number two is that with regards to refund, most of them have had to cancel their flights and they're still waiting for a refund to really come in from the airline. And that is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, what you see right now, the current situation outside Mumbai airport. A short while back, we also received information that similar situation panned out also outside Chennai airport. We'll try and see if we can also get a live hit from Chennai, where a similar sort of a situation has taken place a short while back. I'll go across to Meenakshi, who's joining us on this broadcast. Meenakshi, what's really happening right now? But before I go back to Meenakshi, we'll just slip into a short break and come back to our rolling coverage of the national crisis that we are facing in the aviation sector.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरी राजा,
ये कहानी है बदलाव की, जिसने उन्हें हिम्मत दी, राह दिखाई और आत्मनिर्भर बनाया।
त्रिपुरा सरकार ने महिलाओं को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए कई परिकल्पनाएं शुरू की हैं, ताकि वो अपनी आजीविका खुद तय कर सके।
अब त्रिपुरा की महिलाएं हर क्षेत्र में अपनी निर्णायक भूमिका निभा रही है।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Security.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
Security.
एक सेकंड रुको ना, उस सेकंड को ऑन कर देख रहे हो, सुनो भैया बीच में कौन दूसरा यार 5 सेकंड से होता है, उससे ज्यादा सिक्योरिटी
आतंकवाद के विरुद्ध लड़ाई में भारत और रूस ने लंबे समय से कंधा मिलाकर सहयोग किया है। पहलगाम में हुआ आतंकी हमला हो या क्रोकस सिटी हॉल पर किया गया कायरतापूर्ण आघात।
Prime Minister Modi hails 25 years of India-Russia ties, recalls how Russia stood with India post-Pahalgam attack.
Russia is a reliable supply of oil, gas, coal and everything that is required for the development of India's energy. We are ready to continue uninterrupted shipments of fuel for the fast-growing Indian economy.
Russian President Putin says ready for uninterrupted flow of fuel to India. DGCA gives in to Indigo, rolls back FDTL rule amid nationwide collapse of operations. All Indigo domestic flights from Mumbai have been cancelled till 6 p.m. today after airlines run short on crew. After Mumbai, Indigo says no domestic flights to run from Delhi airport till midnight today. And Union Home Minister Amit Shah speaks to Ram Mohan Naidu regarding the aviation chaos. Good evening, welcome to Republic. I'm Ridhum and our top focus on India's biggest nationwide chaos and crunch caused by Indigo. No Indigo passenger, we're now being told, has been allowed inside the terminal because passengers would create a ruckus at the boarding gate. This is now being said outside the capital. We're getting more details about how there has been a price hike, and this is now at the Bengaluru airport. I beg your pardon. No Indigo passengers are being allowed inside the terminal in Bengaluru. It's being said that they are saying the passengers will create a ruckus, even as the government and the aviation industry needs to sit up and notice it's actually Indigo that is to blame, not passengers that need to be treated in this manner. Now the passengers are stranded on the road outside the terminal. We're also going to show you graphics here, viewers, about the hike in the other airlines, their prices, and also the hotel fares. These are chaotic scenes that are continuing in India. This is India's aviation emergency. Across India, one of the country's biggest airlines, Indigo, is battled with operational issues leading to over 500 flight cancellations. Delhi, Bengaluru, Kochi, Pune, Hyderabad, Raipur. Lakhs of passengers are stranded. Protests are there outside the Bengaluru airport. The live alerts coming in are showing angry passengers are confronting the staff on the way they are being treated. Amid this fiasco caused by Indigo, the airline fares of other airlines are being skyrocketing. Chaotic, angry scenes are there across the airports, with flyers also sloganeering outside the airports against the airlines following such disruptions. We want to also, viewers, now take a look at some of the ground reports that we are getting, the responses. And I want to also speak about the price hike. At such a time when there are these skyrocketing prices that are being seen, when thousands are stranded at the airport, look at the prices. People are profiteering on chaos. SpiceJet flights are now costing from the Mumbai-Kolkata sector a whooping 75,000 rupees. Instead of trying to administer this, the DGCA is giving out timelines, even as it slammed Indigo. Let me show you Akasa Air. The Delhi-Bengaluru sector, a 2-hour flight is costing almost the same amount as a flight to Europe from Delhi would cost, 40,000 rupees. Air India, a Mumbai-Delhi sector, is costing 59,794 rupees. There is chaos across airport, and yet these airlines are profiteering on chaos, on the angry scenes that the passengers are seeing. And all this is happening is India is seeing the aviation emergency. Air India Express, look at this, viewers, for a 12-hour flight from to the Delhi sector is charging 1,18,265 rupees. The Air India Express from Delhi-Bengaluru sector is charging 51,000 rupees. And if this is not looting passengers, we don't understand what is. The Minister of Civil Aviation has issued statement on the disruption. He said we are taking measures for immediate implementation by the airlines, but all this is happening even as the full service to return to normal over the next few days is what the Ministry of Civil Aviation is saying. But even now, these are the prices on the Delhi-Bengaluru sector. It's 51,000 rupees on an Air India flight. And I also want to tell you the prices on the hotels at AeroCity in the capital. They're also profiteering. Roseate Hotel in AeroCity, a 5-star hotel, the prices on Make My Trip are 36,338 rupees for one night. This is a hotel that is near the airport. Hotel Urban Tree, it's a 3-star hotel, is costing a whooping 31,375 rupees. Aviation crisis seems to be a fixed match as these hotels near AeroCity are profiting from the chaos. JW Marriott, the 5-star hotel, is costing 30,000 rupees a night. I'm also going to tell you the prices of the other hotels. Hotel Cardinal Express, Oxmo, 4-star hotel is costing 36,805 rupees. And all this is happening as we are telling you the Hyatt Delhi Residences, which is also in the AeroCity area, is costing 41,000 rupees for a night. So this profiteering is happening even as these passengers are not being given any help as India is facing its biggest airlines emergency, and the aviation industry is trying to battle what it's been facing with Indigo, battling the operational issues. Rosyet, like we said, is costing 36,338 rupees. It's a 5-star hotel. The Bengaluru airport now says passengers stranded on the roads outside the terminal, they are not going to be allowed inside the airport. This is the aviation emergency that we are seeing after Indigo flights have been cancelled. And everybody, even as these flights, the centre has ordered a high-level inquiry into the flight disruptions. But the bigger question, as everyone is profiteering, whether it's these hotels, whether it's the other airlines, how is the DGCA really going to give some relief to the passengers? There is more breaking news coming in on this top focus story, and I'm going to go across to that. The DGCA has ordered and put out on constitution of a committee for comprehensive review and assessment of the circumstances, but I don't want to go into such details because the bottom line is this is just another committee that has been constituted for a review of the circumstances leading to the operational disruption. So the DGCA has ordered a committee to be set up, but the bigger question that Republic TV has been accessing has been asking, what about the passengers that have been stranded? What about those passengers, those 500 flights and passengers, those lakhs of passengers as India faces its biggest aviation crunch? What happens today and tomorrow to them? Committees are going to sit, review committees are going to sit, orders are going to be passed, but who's going to take the responsibility for this? The aviation chaos is only getting bigger. Let me go across to Harsha, who's bringing out those details. Harsha, over the past few weeks, we've been seeing that there's a crisis that continues. But today, the DGCA yet again orders another constitution of a committee. Give us those details, but also remember, Harsha, to explain to our viewers how is everyone going to understand the spike of the other airlines and the Indigo now being asked to give a plan of action. But what is really going to happen now when Indian passengers are facing this crisis?
Rhythm, you rightly pointed out, now DGCA has right now stepped into this entire trouble and the crisis of the Indigo. And to explain to all our viewers, this is not something which has happened overnight. Indigo has been facing this issue from the past 1 week, and Indigo never anticipated that this new FDTL CAR2 requirements of the DGCA and its implementation could cause this major chaos. Till now, there was an internal issue, and the pilots have been raising this particular issue with the Indigo. Yes, there's a problem. Our leaves can't be a substitute for the weekly rest. Majorly, it was the rest issue and also the 2 local night flight time issue which happened in the Indigo. Now, DGCA has constituted 4-member committee which constitutes of Deputy Director General and the Joint Director General of the Civil Aviation. Also, 2 captains have been included in this particular committee. In the 4-panel committee has to submit entire report to the regulatory body in 15 days, and this entire committee will access the operational issues and the trouble which Indigo is facing right now. They will also monitor that how the roster is being prepared, and also the new FDTS CAR2 requirements could be fulfilled, and how there has to be accuracy and proper monitoring of that particular issue in the new FDTL, which is the flight duty time limitations requirements of the pilot. This 4-member committee will visit all the terminals, not only in National Capital, IGI, T1, but also in different terminals as well, be it all the revenue sectors, major revenue sectors like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bengaluru. This 4-member committee will keep a close watch on the Indigo and how Indigo is going to get back to its normalcy. We very well know that that coming 4-5 days are going to be very difficult for Indigo. Indigo has already, told all the passengers to cancel their flight. Full refund are being initiated, and at the airport also the passengers who were stranded, proper refund is being generated and initiated to all those passengers. But right now, it doesn't seem that Indigo is going to have an easy day for almost this entire December. Indigo has already stated that till 10th of February 2026, there will not be any stabilization and normalcy which will be achieved by Indigo. So the hard days for Indigo has just started because of the new FDTL CAR2 requirements. And Rhythm, this is an issue with Indigo. Indigo never anticipated this, and Indigo is also the first airline to implement this new FDTL. This new FDTL is not something new in aviation. Each and every country and aviation body has this flight duty time limitation. It is for the welfare of the pilot and the crew member. But in this case, they didn't implement it wisely. They didn't implement it with keeping DGCA regulatory body in confidence. Neither the crew members were kept in confidence. They were going on with the issue fatigue and the other as well. Now the DGCA has constituted 4-member committee. The report to be submitted in 15 days to them. Back to you.
All right, Harsha, thank you for giving us those details. And the only question that we have to ask the government, the DGCA and Indigo, if indeed you knew this is going to happen, why did it take so long to actually do something? Because as I thank Harsha, we're going to continue going back to her. We've seen chaotic scenes that continued at airports across India as one of the country's biggest airlines. Indigo is battling operational issues leading to over 500 flight cancellations. Take a look at these visuals.
Il n'y a rien mangé, il n'y a rien de dormir. J'ai pas mon billet.
अशी आपल्याला महिला पाहायला मिळते की त्यांचं जे तिकीट काउंटर आहे तिथे ती वर चढली आहे आणि इंडिगो एअरलाइन्सचे
Je vais retourner mon pays. C'est vous qui a gaspillé mon billet. Alors, je vais mon billet. Je vais mon billet. Je vais mon billet. Je vais retourner en France. Je vais mon billet.
Viewers, we are joined by callers on the story, and I'm joined by Hitendra Mehta from Mumbai. These are scenes that are coming in of disruption over Indigo's that continuing flights cancellation from Mumbai airport. Hitendra, I want you to speak to us about the delays, about these expensive flights that have been taken by people, and the kind of passengers that have been left stranded. This is the only country that is facing such a crisis, and accountability needs to be there with the government, the DGCA and the airlines. Hitendra.
Yeah, first of all, good evening, madam.
Good evening.
Yesterday, when I was seeing Mr. Arnav Mukherjee's interview, that time I realized that this problem is very serious. And from yesterday night onwards, I am trying to contact Indigo people, but they are not responding, means full up to 2 o'clock in the morning. I was dialing their number, toll-free number, every number, but they were not responding. It is just ringing and ringing. And the thing is that, madam, we are middle-class people. Okay, hardly we get the holidays from our workplace. On 8th of December, we are going to Coimbatore, and nobody is responding, and we have done a booking of Ooty, which we have paid, and we called up hotel people. They are saying it is not our fault, so we will not refund your money also. We are going 8 people to Ooty for just a 4 days holiday, and we have paid 60,000 rupees advance for that. And nobody is responding because there is a very pinnacle loss to us, because hardly we get 4 days holiday. Our salary is going to get cut from these 4 days. We are going to lose money, everything, madam. I don't understand what these people, because 8th December we are going by Indigo, and 12th December we are coming by Indigo. We have booked at 12,000 rupees per person. So 24,000 rupees, and now it is showing 40,000 rupees.
That's right, Hitendra. Hitendra,
Yeah.
as I completely, my heart goes out to you and all the passengers like you who've been stranded. I want to also, Hitendra, say that Indigo needs to be accountable. Let's at the same time, viewers, show you live scenes coming in from Chennai. In Chennai, we are seeing these scenes that I'm going to cut across to, where we are seeing another commotion that has been now caused. This is passengers there asking for accountability. This is passengers asking for... Let me show you the reactions that are coming in from Chennai.
What is the price now? I want that. I don't want my money. I booked 7 months back. I am not a policeman. No, I want to just ticket if I am
Don't stand like a fool. सीधे को तो बुला सकता है तो अंदर एसी में घूम रहा है
कोई नहीं है सब चला गया है सब वापस
Yes.
हाँ सब खाली बैठा दिए 2-4 आदमी को तुम लोग खाली सुनो
अरे ये सीआईसीएफ भी किसी काम का नहीं है आप क्या बोल रहे हो ये सीआईसीएफ किसी काम का नहीं है
I don't know why we vote
Yes, I'll do that. I'll do that.
I swear they should resign. They cannot handle it.
They have nobody staying in this office right now. Who are you asking to come?
I'm trying to find Yes, I will do definitely. So will you eat? That's the person. Yes. I'm trying So what do you seems to be the problem? What is the Indigo passengers telling? Sir, so what do you think seems to be the problem with the Indigo? They are not responding to you.
They are not, I think, considering the problem of their servicemen, the employees. I think the main problem is from the management with the employees. That is my opinion.
So what have they told you right now? Your flights are all cancelled. What have they told you?
No, why should I will go anywhere from here? I want today's ticket from any air services for my destination. I booked before 7 months back. Why should we spend money before 7 months for taking back money? How much we paid? We want today's price ticket. Otherwise, they are refunding. Pay me today's price. What is the price of Air India? What is the price of spices? They pay me. We will leave.
Ma'am, what do you think seems to be the problem with the Indigo today?
They should go bankrupt. They don't have operation sense. They do not have employees. They should just go bankrupt. DGCA has withdrawn their application and their form. They should start it. It's a way of blackmailing, nothing else. They should go bankrupt.
What are the officers you're telling you?
Nothing. They're not even responding. And she's saying, do whatever you want to do. We can't help you out. And it's a customer service area. That's how you talk.
Have they agreed to refund your money?
Yes, but I don't need refund. The alternative flights are for 1 lakh rupees. Is that refund? We booked a ticket of 10k. 10 times, 100 times we can pay. Which tree has money? I'll go sit there and fucking take the ticket and go.
So here passengers from Chennai Airport claim that the tickets today cost 1 lakh if they want an alternative flight. But right now, the Indigo passengers are left stranded here. We have more voices coming in from Chennai.
Nobody, no authority is coming in front to help us. We are fighting since last 3 working days. Not even the Civil Aviation Minister, not even the BCAS, not even the DGCA, nobody. They are doing as per their will. They don't have their senior authorities coming before us. Just imagine the condition that we are going through.
So the passengers of Chennai continue to state that this is second day continuously they have been fighting, but Indigo has nothing to say to them, and passengers are left questionable at the airport, stranded constantly for a long time. And here they have been raising slogans and chants saying that they're also recording videos of the Indigo clients here, saying that their response to the customers have been very arrogant. And customers also say there's not been alternate arrangements made to them whether to stay or travel anywhere, and that they're all left over in the airport just like that.
not about money. पैसा important नहीं है हमारे लिए पहुंचना important है. It is important that we should reach our home.
कल का टिकट दिखा रहा था कुछ देर घंटा पहले. कल का टिकट भी दिखा.
कोई फायदा नहीं है बस
कोई कुछ बोल भी नहीं रहा है बस.
As you can see, passengers at Chennai Airport are continued stranded and exclusively told Republic that the Indigo the customer care do not respond to the passengers properly and that they are very arrogant and no alternative measures have been given to them, and it's not for stay, it's not for hotel, it's not for them traveling back. They also claim that the flight charges are expensive right now and they would agree only if they allow the Indigo offices to be opened for passengers who are stranded in the airport to stay. They are also banging on the windows of the Indigo customer care that's located in the Chennai airport, and also multiple people saying that the Indigo should make sure that not just alternative flights are arranged but also make sure that the passengers get a place to.
Another visual that is coming in. We're going to show you the utter chaos at the airport, the Bengaluru airport, where Indigo has barred passengers from entering the terminal. We are getting these visuals from the Bengaluru airport. You can see how the passengers are trying to get into lines. There are bags that are there all around. The passengers are there all around. Nobody's trying to get help to them. Like in Chennai, similar scenes in Bangalore also being seen in Bengaluru airport, and the passengers are not being given any help. We're also being told at the same time, as this continues to happen, that all the passengers are asking for is another flight to be taking off and helping them, but that is not happening. As accountability is being asked for, these people on these flight cancellations that have taken place are saying you can do what you want, we don't have anyone who can help you. The Aviation Ministry is ordering a high-level inquiry, it's being said, but even now these visuals say their own story. However many committees that sit today, however many so-called admonishments that are given to Indigo today, this is the picture. The biggest aviation emergency. These are the pictures coming from Bengaluru airport, from Chennai airport, where harassed passengers are saying, we've been asking and had booked our flight 7 months ago. We are seeing bags and bags and pictures of bags. We're seeing on the other side harassed passengers. We're seeing 1 lakh flight price hikes, and yet no one taking accountability. This aviation crisis seems to be a fixed match as other airlines have hiked their prices. And viewers, coming up after a short break, we stay with this India's national aviation emergency. Sharp focus continues on Republic TV as we demand answers not only from the airlines but also from the government.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला. सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप.
ये कहानी है बदलाव की, जिसने उन्हें हिम्मत दी, राह दिखाई और आत्मनिर्भर बनाया.
त्रिपुरा सरकार ने महिलाओं को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए कई परिकल्पनाएं शुरू की हैं ताकि वो अपनी आजीविका खुद तय कर सके.
अब त्रिपुरा की महिलाएं हर क्षेत्र में अपनी निर्णायक भूमिका निभा रही है.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार.
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला.
From the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India, the law roars louder, real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा और प्योर मसाला। From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Watching live and breaking at 6 p.m. I'm Tanisha Avasthi. Ladies and gentlemen, the aviation sector in India is going through one of the biggest crises in recent times, and one major airline that's responsible for this mess is Indigo. There are a lot of chaos visuals I've come across, multiple airports, pan-India. We'll get you all that and much more in this edition, but first a quick check of the headlines.
आतंकवाद के विरुद्ध लड़ाई में भारत और रूस ने लंबे समय से कंधा मिलाकर सहयोग किया है। पहलगाम में हुआ आतंकी हमला हो या क्रोकस सिटी हॉल पर किया गया कायरतापूर्ण आघात।
Prime Minister Modi hails 25 years of India-Russia ties, recalls how Russia stood with India post the Pahalgam attack.
Russia is a reliable supplier of oil, gas, coal and everything that is required for the development of India's energy. We are ready to continue uninterrupted shipments of fuel for the fast-growing Indian economy.
President Putin says Russia is ready for an uninterrupted flow of fuel to India. DGCA gives in to Indigo, rolls out FDTL rule amid nationwide collapse of operations. All Indigo domestic flights from Mumbai cancelled till 6 p.m. today after airlines run short on crew. After Mumbai, Indigo says no domestic flights to run from Delhi airport till midnight today. Union Home Minister Amit Shah speaks to Ram Mohan Naidu regarding the aviation chaos.
Ladies and gentlemen, straight away cutting across to Chennai Airport, where chaos has unfolded at the airport after there were thousands of passengers that were asking and seeking a response from Indigo on their flight cancellations, on their flight delays, and after getting no response from the Indigo management, there's utter chaos that's now broken out at the Chennai airport. Remember, there are many airports across India like Chennai that are facing huge crisis as far as the mess that Indigo is in concern. Now, the centre has ordered for a high-level inquiry by a 4-member panel into the nationwide Indigo flight chaos. Now, in a statement, in fact, the Ministry of Civil Aviation also said that they will inquire and examine what actually went wrong at Indigo. But remember, no amount of inquiry can actually help these stranded passengers. Shada is joining me live on the broadcast from Chennai Airport. On that, Shada, please take us through what are the scenes that you're seeing around you.
Well, as you see at the Chennai airport, multiple people were raising slogans that the Indigo did not care for the customers, and multiple people questioned the crew as to why were they not helping them. Here, one of the passengers from is Reema, who is from Nasik, who is just having a talk with the Indigo crew right now, and she did not get the refund or the place to stay, and she now does not have another flight to reach back. Ma'am, what did the Indigo staff tell you?
They tell we can't help you, you just have to manage. But till afternoon, they have told Indigo is welcoming you. Please come to the airport on the time. It was their duty to inform us that flight is a cancel, and now they have just raised the hand. What the hell Indigo people are doing, and what they are doing for the foreigners. See how they are sitting, how they are doing, and sitting for the hours and hours. So it is my request for the minister, please take some action, do something for the common people. Always why the common people suffer. पूछता है भारत कि हमेशा एक common people ही क्यों सफर करता है, क्यों दूसरा सफर नहीं करता है, क्या किया है, कुछ नहीं किया है. Just we are standing for hours and hours, but there is no help, no anything from their side.
So that was one passenger at the Chennai airport telling that the Indigo did not even tell them that their flight was cancelled, and constantly telling that the flight was only delayed, and there was no proper action also taken by the Indigo staff. As you saw some time back, multiple people were raising slogans. I'll request my VJ to take you to the Indigo flight ticket counter that's outside the Chennai airport, where people are still fighting, and they've been here since yesterday asking for refunds and cancellations, and the information that they've been only getting is that the flight is delayed, but no information on how long it will be delayed, whether it will be cancelled. And also, the main important point here is nobody is getting a place to stay, because most of the hotels around the airport are now full and people do not have a place to stay. Let's talk to more people and see what they have to say. Sir, has Indigo messaged you telling that your flight is cancelled or delayed?
No, they have only told us that please welcome on board. Our flight is scheduled on 7 o'clock. And we have got a message that welcome on board, but none of the authorities are sending us in.
So did you go to the gate to check whether you are allowed inside? What did the CISF tell you?
They just told us that all the Indigo flights are cancelled and that nothing else. They did not mention anything else apart from.
As you can see, this is a major miscommunication, because Indigo is still telling their passengers to come to the airport on time as the flights are still running. But once they reach the airport, the CISF at the security is pushing the passengers away, telling that all flights are cancelled. This is nothing but a complete miscommunication on the Indigo side. And just few minutes back, all the flights were set to go and security check was still on, and that's what the Chennai Airport Board also stated. But all passengers knew that the flights were cancelled and had a talk with the CISF, but still no help came from Indigo. Until now, people are still stranded at the airport. As you can see around me, multiple foreign nationals are also waiting at the airport to get a boarding flight from Mumbai or Delhi. That's their connecting flight, and now they don't know how to go back to their home country.
Absolutely, Shada. If I can come back to you again, and if you can show us around what the Chennai airport looks like right now, because just a few moments back, we saw how there was a lady, a foreign national, who was there at the Mumbai airport, who was banging on the screens of the Indigo Airlines, asking them to reply to help her. But as usual, there was no response from the team. And if you can just show us around what's happening currently at the Chennai airport.
Well, this is just Chennai airport. I can see this is gate 1, where people board for Indigo flights. Now the CISF is turning down people, whoever has Indigo flight. We can see one gentleman right there who had his ticket ready but passed in through, but had to come out because the CISF staff told him that the flight's not running. And throughout the airport, you can see senior citizens sitting. People who have kids are still running out. We have people who have their corporate meetings and business meetings running. still getting delayed, and they also want to know whether Indigo will let you know whether their flight is delayed or not. We also have one more passenger. We'll just check what Indigo has told them. Sir, do you know that your flight is cancelled, as Indigo mentioned?
There was no message, no communication from Indigo. And I'm not blaming Indigo for this. I'm blaming the DCGA for this. What is the government doing? Is this something which I'm riding a two-wheeler or what? What is this? Is it a joke or what? What is the power? What is the authority of the government? What is the Civil Aviation Department doing? They're giving license to such operators, right? I don't know. They are, even the government, I will blame the government. Government is not bothered about neither the safety of the passengers nor about the security of the passengers. It is just there, everybody is in the process of making money. Even the government is making money. They are taking money, they are taking bribe, and this airlines too, absolutely. And because of this, India is a land of opportunity. Opportunity means opportunity to make money. Whenever there is a crisis, people try to take money, make money. Even because of this crisis, rather than other airlines giving a helping hand, they have jacked up the fares. Their ticket seats are not available. 45,000 ticket from here to Mumbai, ridiculous for a airline like SpiceJet charging 45,000. So do you think that we are living in a country, we call it a democratic country? I still believe that had we been under British rule, we would have been much better. I still pray India should come out of democracy, be a slave to some other country. India will develop better.
And that's one passenger shouting out his hearts, telling that the Indigo and the DGCA is not helping the passengers, and the main problem is that other airlines have also jacked up the prices. I'll request my cameraman to turn around to show you the foreign nationals who have been stranded here for hours and have been waiting to get their connecting flight from Chennai. They're also in question whether they'll be able to go out of Chennai. Let's just ask if they have a connecting flight. Excuse me, you have a connecting flight from Indigo?
Yeah, we were supposed to go to Goa today.
And you're from?
Sweden.
Okay, so that's tourists from Sweden who've come all the way to Chennai, traveling to Goa for tourism, and they're also stuck in Chennai as Indigo still has not provided a different airline for them to continue, and multiple airlines in the entire country has jacked up the prices. As you just heard a person mentioning that one ticket charge from Chennai to Mumbai is costing 45,000, and that's the boat that the Chennai airport's maintaining. As you see, the number of flights that have been cancelled today. Earlier in the morning, it was all delays and telling reschedules, but today everything has been cancelled, and the airport's authority have given an official confirmation that till midnight, no flights of Indigo will be leaving from Chennai. And also, official sources from the airport authorities have mentioned that the Indigo will take at least 2 days of time to make sure that the flights from Chennai would be leaving, as no pilots are available at the moment.
Right, Shraddha, request you to stay with me, because what we'll also do right now is we will go across to what's happening at the Thiruvananthapuram airport. Now, there are flight operations at the Thiruvananthapuram International Airport were also disrupted as Indigo's ongoing nationwide operational crisis continued after outrage was seen by the passengers, from exorbitant tickets of other airlines to very, very high hotel prices. This is how the passengers are facing the brunt for the mess that Indigo is in.
India's aviation crisis widens across major airports of the country. Disruptions in flight services continue to leave travelers stranded for the third consecutive day in Kerala, as Indigo, India's largest airline, is grappled with service disruptions for the third straight day in the state due to an operational breakdown. At the Thiruvananthapuram International Airport, 8 Indigo flights have been cancelled and 5 Indigo flights have been delayed so far.
Yeah, morning 7:30 is the flight. We didn't got any information about that flight. Yesterday night also we didn't get the messages. Morning we came at 5 o'clock. We asked, they said 1:55 is the reschedule. Then said, is it confirmed? They said no. Not sure, but we have been told that 1:55. Then I asked him, till that time where should I stay? Please allow us, at least we'll sit inside. They're not even allowing. We were sitting there in the sun on the platform, but till now, no one responding, no refreshments, nothing. Indigo people, not even one person came and talked about that.
We are coming from Hyderabad. They have cancelled the flight. We waited for 11 to 12 hours in the airport only.
They are not, even no one is respond. We are running here and there. People all are just disturbed. They are telling we will talk there, like only it's a blunder mistake from Indigo. Just we want our luggage, nothing we want any refund or nothing. If we get our luggage, we will go.
In the south, Thiruvananthapuram International Airport is the third worst affected after airports of Bengaluru and Chennai. The flight disruptions in Thiruvananthapuram came at a time when the airline continues to battle a wave of flight cancellations and delays nationwide.
The struggling of the passengers continue unabated even on the third day of the national aviation crisis that plagued Indigo Airlines. Even on Friday, hundreds of passengers, including the officials who reached Thiruvananthapuram for National Navy Day celebrations and other Sabarimala pilgrims reached the airport in the morning, and they were seated for hours without even informing that their flights have been cancelled. After being seated inside for hours, they were informed that the flights have been cancelled. With no other option, they all moved to various hotels in the city to plan their journey options. However, due to the cancellation and the delays, there was a heavy rush of customers in various hotels. The demand was high and the hotel owners charged even double or triple amount from them. Even most of the passengers are now planning to move to Coimbatore or Hyderabad or Bengaluru in interstate Volvo buses. By making use of the situation, the interstate Volvo buses are even charging them huge amounts. The passengers are left with no other option except paying huge amounts for reaching their homes safely and on time.
And also there were chaotic scenes that continued across airports across India as one of the country's biggest airlines, Indigo, battled with operational issues. All right, we're cutting across to some breaking news that's coming in. Indigo CEO has now issued a statement. It is a video message.
With information on refunds, cancellations, and other customer support measures was sent. Also, we've stepped up our call center capacity. Secondly, due to yesterday's situation, we had customers stranded mostly at the nation's largest airports. Our focus was for all of them to be able to travel today itself, which will be achieved. For this, we also ask customers whose flights are cancelled not to come to airports as notifications are sent on this. Thirdly, cancellations were made for today as to align our crew and planes to be where they need to start afresh tomorrow morning. Earlier measures of the last few days regrettably have proven not to be enough. So we've decided today for a reboot of all our systems and schedules, resulting in the highest number of cancellations so far, but imperative for progressive improvements starting as from tomorrow. With these actions, we expect tomorrow to have cancellations below 1,000. The support of DGCA in providing specific FDTL implementation relief is of great help. Still, there's lots of work in progress, but going forward from here, in alignment with the Ministry of Civil Aviation and DGCA, we do expect to further improve every day. Given the size, scale, and complexity of our operation, it will take some time to return to a full normal situation, which we do anticipate between the 10th and the 15th of December. I do understand that these disruptions have caused much discomfort to our customers and has shaken their belief in Indigo's reliability so carefully built over these past 19 years. My colleagues, all the great Indigo teams and frontline staff have been working relentlessly to address the situation. Rest assured, we are doing everything in our control to not only restore your trust and belief, but strengthen it further over time. Thank you for your patience, understanding, and kindness during this difficult time. We shall keep you updated on an ongoing basis.
All right, so that was Peter Elvis, the CEO of Indigo, issuing a very, very templated response and admitting that they have had the highest number of cancellation in the recent years, apologizing for the inconvenience caused to the customers. But that certainly, ladies and gentlemen, is not enough. That was Indigo CEO's statement that has come out nearly after 4 days after multiple airports, multiple passengers have been stranded, multiple flights, nearly over 1,000 flights have been cancelled across all airports. That is exactly when, after 4 days, is when Indigo has issued a statement. Indigo CEO Peter Elvis, the man that you see on your screens right now, issuing a video statement saying that cancellation have been made to align the crews and planes. Now, Indigo has also said that DGCA support on FDTL implementation is of great help and that it will take some time for them to return to normalcy. Yesterday, in fact, Indigo in their statement had said that for them to achieve complete normalcy and complete return of operations is going to take no less than February 10th, 2026 for them to settle down. And this after which is when the DGCA had given out a high-level inquiry, had ordered a high-level inquiry. Indigo has confirmed that cancellations were planned to align the crews. Now, if cancellations were planned, the question, really, ladies and gentlemen, here is why weren't passengers already informed about the same? Indigo's unprecedented wave of over 1,000 flight cancellations in the last 4 days has unleashed India's sharpest airfare and hotel price surge in recent memory, leaving thousands of stranded and triggering nationwide outrage, with the airline slashing nearly a fifth of its daily schedule. And before we get to how the hotel and the other flights are hiking their prices, let's once again listen in to Indigo CEO's statement that he has issued just a few moments back.
September 5th being the most severely impacted day, with the number of cancellations well over 1,000, or more than half of our number of daily flights. I, on behalf of all of us at Indigo, would like to extend our sincerest apologies for the major inconvenience this has caused to many of our customers on account of delays or cancellations. The situation is a result of various causes. Yet, for you as a customer, it's important how we as Indigo address this. We have defined 3 lines of action. Firstly, customer communication and addressing your needs. For this, messages have been sent on social media, and just now a more detailed communication with information on refunds, cancellations, and other customer support measures was sent. Also, we've stepped up our call center capacity. Secondly, due to yesterday's situation, we had customers stranded mostly at the nation's largest airports. Our focus was for all of them to be able to travel today itself, which will be achieved. For this, we also ask customers whose flights are cancelled not to come to airports, as notifications are sent on this. Thirdly, December 5th being the most severely impacted day, with the number of cancellations well over 1,000, or more than half of our number of daily flights. I, on behalf of all of us at Indigo, would like to extend our sincerest apologies for the major inconvenience this has caused to many of our customers on account of delays or cancellations. The situation is a result of various causes. Yet, for you as a customer, it's important how we as Indigo address this. We have defined 3 lines of action. Firstly, customer communication and addressing your needs. For this, messages have been sent on social media, and just now a more detailed communication with information on refunds, cancellations, and other customer support measures was sent. Also, we've stepped up our call center capacity. Secondly, due to yesterday's situation, we had customers stranded mostly at the nation's largest airports. Our focus was for all of them to be able to travel today itself, which will be achieved. For this, we also ask customers whose flights are cancelled not to come to airports as notifications are sent on this. Thirdly,
That was a very tentative response by Indigo CEO, where he said that he did admit to cancellations and that all the cancellations were planned. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the top stories that we're tracking, also an agenda story for Republic, where we will be fighting and we will be raising your concerns, your voice. It's time for us to now slip into a short break, but more breaking news follows up on that national aviation emergency.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा,
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
MDH।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
ये कहानी है बदलाव की, जिसने उन्हें हिम्मत दी, राह दिखाई और आत्मनिर्भर बनाया।
त्रिपुरा सरकार ने महिलाओं को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए कई परिकल्पनाएं शुरू की हैं, ताकि वो अपनी आजीविका खुद तय कर सके।
अब त्रिपुरा की महिलाएं हर क्षेत्र में अपनी निर्णायक भूमिका निभा रही है।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
Security.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डवेयर मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया सफेद चने या काले चने
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
India's largest nationwide aviation crisis. The Indigo CEO has only issued a statement saying it will take time. But time is not what passengers have when they are stranded at airports across all the cities. Time is not what they have when they have to go to important scheduled meetings. Passengers are being harassed, hundreds of flights are cancelled, airline rates are going up by the other airlines. 1 lakh rupees is the cost of one flight to go from Bengaluru to Chennai. And at such a point of time, if time is what the Indigo CEO wants, then they don't understand the woes of the passenger, as does not the government. This is our top focus. We take a look at our top headlines. Indigo CEO issues statement amid nationwide chaos, says it will take time to issue normalcy. DGCA gives in to Indigo, rolls back FDTL rule amid nationwide collapse of operations. After Mumbai, Indigo says no domestic flights to run from Delhi airport till midnight today.
आतंकवाद के विरुद्ध लड़ाई में भारत और रूस ने लंबे समय से कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर सहयोग किया है। पहलगाम में हुआ आतंकी हमला हो या क्रोकस सिटी हॉल पर किया गया कायरतापूर्ण आघात।
Prime Minister Modi hails 25 years of Russian ties, recalls how Russia stood with India post-Pahalgam attack.
Is a reliable supply of oil, gas, coal and everything that is required for the development of India's energy. We are ready to continue uninterrupted shipments of fuel for the fast-growing Indian economy.
And Russian President Vladimir Putin says ready for uninterrupted flow of fuel to India. Chaotic scenes are continuing at airports across India. One of the country's biggest airlines, Indigo, battled with operational issues leading to over 1,000 flight cancellations. Amid the ongoing Indigo fiasco, the airline fares have skyrocketed as over 500 flights cancelled across major airports across the country. Chaotic, angry scenes have been seen at several airports with flyers sloganeering against the airlines following the disruptions. I'm going to first go across to Bengaluru Airport, where my colleague is calling from, we're first going to go across to Krishna first at the Bengaluru airport, a passenger who's called. Krishna, give us details about what is happening around you. A short while ago, I think we got a call from you about how there are also handicapped people around you and how they were being treated. Give us more details, Krishna.
It's quite difficult over here to right now, stay over here. They have been dispersing us and they are trying to, playing with us since morning 6 a.m. We have been here in the airport at 3 a.m. Many of the senior citizens were, and many of the people who had people with comorbidities, they were all here. And they had been trying to remove. The Indigo staff has been quite ignorant towards us. And whenever we talk to them, they just try to show their attitude towards us. That's what I can tell you about. Right now, there were like a lot of people standing over here. They tried to disperse us, gave us false promises. Since morning, they are saying that flight is going to take off after 2 hours, and again 2 hours. And this flight was going to Srinagar, which is the only flight from Bengaluru that goes to Srinagar. People had booked tickets 2 months prior, and because of that, now people are suffering. There have been damages of more than 1.5 lakhs around for people who are planning to have a tourism-related visit over there. And I can connect you with one of the person over around they had their own experiences.
Here is no response for Indigo City. It is totally failing. Totally failing. For waiting from since morning around 6 come here. Till time is 6:35. No response.
And this has been this case over here all around, and I can see many of the women over here who have been standing since the morning, and they have been talking about it.
Not go. First site, most behavior, most response. Morning 6 o'clock, 5:30, 12 hours, no response.
So all across, I'm trying to show you that many of the passengers who were stranded, we had been getting connected to the Indigo airline staff. And when we told them, what about our flight? They said, we don't care. This was their statement. And this made us to feel more bad. After that, they even tried to show us that even if you agitate, we don't care. Because they don't care about the passengers at all. Because they have become high-headed and they care more about money. It's just CISF guarding them this time, and CISF is trying to sort out this flight for Jammu and Kashmir. They want to try to help out people out there. That's about what's happening out there in Bengaluru. Thank you.
Excellent. Krishna Sapru, as I thank you for joining us as a passenger and as someone who's now today become the voice of the people in Bengaluru. Thank you for showing us the situation of the stranded passengers in Bengaluru. We showed you a short while ago the pictures on the screen, the angry passengers who confronted the staff, the people who were asking and demanding for emergency flights because they had to get somewhere. And now we are showing you more words coming. But before viewers, I go on to anything, let me show you the casualness, the nonchalance with which the Indigo CEO has spoken and said, in time, normalcy will prevail. It's just another day for the Indigo CEO.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Peter Elbers, the CEO of Indigo. I want to share with you that we have experienced severe operational disruptions for the past few days. Since then, the crisis continued to aggravate, with today, December 5th, being the most severely impacted day, with the number of cancellations well over 1,000, or more than half of our number of daily flights. I, on behalf of all of us at Indigo, would like to extend our sincerest apologies for the major inconvenience this has caused to many of our customers on account of delays or cancellations. The situation is a result of various causes. Yet, for you as a customer, it's important how we as Indigo address this. We have defined 3 lines of action. Firstly, customer communication and addressing your needs. For this, messages have been sent on social media, and just now a more detailed communication with information on refunds, cancellations and other customer support measures was sent. Also, we've stepped up our call center capacity. Secondly, due to yesterday's situation, we had customers stranded mostly at the nation's largest airports. Our focus was for all of them to be able to travel today itself, which will be achieved. For this, we also ask customers whose flights are cancelled not to come to airports as notifications are sent on this. Thirdly, cancellations were made for today as to align our crew and planes to be where they need to start afresh tomorrow morning. Earlier measures of the last few days regrettably have proven not to be enough. So we've decided today for a reboot of all our systems and schedules, resulting in the highest number of cancellations so far, but imperative for progressive improvements starting as from tomorrow. With these actions, we expect tomorrow to have cancellations below 1,000. The support of DGCA in providing specific FDTL implementation relief is of great help. Still, there's lots of work in progress, but going forward from here, in alignment with the Ministry of Civil Aviation and DGCA, we do expect to further improve every day. Given the size, scale and complexity of our operation, it will take some time to return to a full normal situation, which we do anticipate between the 10th and the 15th of December. I do understand that these disruptions have caused much discomfort to our customers and has shaken their belief in Indigo's reliability so carefully built over these past 19 years. My colleagues, all the great Indigo teams and frontline staff have been working relentlessly to address the situation. Rest assured, we are doing everything in our control to not only restore your trust and belief, but strengthen it further over time. Thank you for your patience, understanding and kindness during this difficult time. We shall keep you updated on an ongoing basis.
Just mere words, alas. Indigo's unprecedented wave of over 1,000 flight cancellations in the last 4 days unleashed India's sharpest airfare and hotel price surge in recent memory, leaving thousands of stranded and triggering nationwide outrage. The airline is slashing nearly a fifth of its daily schedules amid crew shortage and regulatory curbs. Last-minute fares on rival carriers have exploded. A Delhi-Mumbai one-way is costing almost 50 to 60,000 rupees. The question is, are the hotels and the other airlines feeding on the woes of the citizens?
What began as Indigo cancellations has now turned into a price explosion. Flight fares shooting up, hotel charges doubling overnight. With flights vanishing from schedules, demand jumped instantly. Passengers in Mumbai say that they simply could not rebook, as airlines raised fares the moment Indigo flights went off the grid.
A flight by Indigo from Bombay to Bareilly, which has got cancelled. There's no prior information. On reaching the airport, they said the flight is cancelled. I'll have to change my flight or go by some alternate means. So I'm trying to book my flight again by Indigo if possible for today evening to Delhi, because there's no other flight to Bareilly.
Why there is no other flight, and what about other airlines?
Other airlines to Delhi have increased the fares very high. Almost Air India charging almost 24,000 rupees. Spice Jets almost 18,000 rupees. Just one way to Delhi. So it's a huge problem,
Similar complaints echoed in Hyderabad, as the last-minute fares rising by 5 to 6 times.
I was traveling to Amritsar, but from yesterday the flight have been cancelled. So now we are checking for another Air India or something, but they took advantage that if the flights are cancelled, as you know, so they are taking advantage and increasing the prices of the flights up to 40,000, which is not a good thing. So it's we were waiting for even 2 hours, and it's been no message on the Indigo or somewhere that flight is delayed or cancelled. So it's difficult to know that what should we do. It's important for us to go to our place where we want to, but for this particular reason, I don't know. They don't even telling what is the reason behind that. So we don't know.
Hotels in the adjacent Aerocity district are witnessing a dramatic price surge. Properties like the Hyatt Delhi residence are commanding up to rupees 41,000 per night, while JW Marriott and Roseate House hover around 30,000. And even mid-tier options such as Urban Tree and Cardinal Express have spiked to rupees 31,000 to rupees 36,000. This opportunistic hike, with some rooms reportedly exceeding rupees 74,000, has drawn sharp criticism from the passengers. In Kerala, another crisis unfolded. Hotel rates skyrocketed, with hundreds stranded. Passengers stayed back overnight, and hotels doubled their prices.
Today is an important meeting in my home, but I'm not reaching that time on, so I am facing problem.
So last time when you came, you paid only 2,500 rupees.
Yeah.
Now you have to pay huge amounts.
Increase. Last time we has pay for 2,500 second category room, but now is this situation affect for the hotel prices increase 3,000. Okay, so we are facing the problem.
The chaos that has impacted hundreds of Indigo's flights is set to burn a deeper hole into passengers' pockets. Flight fares have soared multifold, with the passengers stranded due to cancellations struggling with last-minute bookings with other airlines. The sudden rush and demand spike led to ripple effect on flight booking platforms, doubling and tripling prices for a mode of transport that remains a luxury for most of the population in the country.
And chaos and panic has also prevailed in the Jaipur airport. We are getting these live pictures coming in from the airport in Jaipur. There's also panic there as multiple flights of Indigo Airlines have been cancelled. Passengers have not been given any notice. Indigo flights from Jaipur airport, 2 from Jaisalmer, were also cancelled. Passengers speaking about their woes. There are certain authorities standing before them at the Jaipur airport. The officials have said the primary reasons behind these disruptions have been the duty time limitations, which restrict the airline pilots and crews. But irrespective, several flights from Jaipur airport have also been cancelled to Hyderabad, Bengaluru, Chennai, Mumbai, Indore, Kolkata. Passengers travelling to Kolkata on the Indigo flight from Jaipur had also faced delays. Let's listen in to reactions that are also coming in at the Mumbai airport, where my colleague Meenakshi was reporting from.
I'm reporting from outside Terminal 2 Mumbai airport, and the situation remains same as yesterday. Sudden Indigo flights delayed and cancellation triggered passengers, and here we can see long queue outside the Indigo counters. And here we can see also frustrated passengers. They are claiming that no assistance from Indigo staff also. And you can see passengers are waiting with their luggages, some of them here for more than 4 to 5 hours without any clarity when their flight will take off. You can see this is the Indigo counter and long queue here. And passengers are claiming that there is no clarification from Indigo staff. Also, they are claiming that help desk is not working properly. Passengers are demanding transparency and immediate solution because they have no communication from Indigo staff. They are claiming that when they reached at airport, at that time they got to know their flight had been delayed and their flight had been cancelled. And even they are saying when boarding started, they got to know their flight had been cancelled. So there is the situation is very tense and chaotic. As we saw yesterday, Mumbai airport and others airport, passengers are facing challenges to reach their destination. Even more passengers told us that they have to rebook their flight because their connecting flight has been cancelled. So there is the situation from Mumbai airport, and over 100 flights of Indigo today delayed and cancelled for this disruption.
With over 1,000 Indigo flights cancelled in the last 2 days, we had 26 flights cancelled from Chennai yesterday and 31 today. While the airport authorities say that the cancelled flights are getting refunds, we can see the number of people crowded in the airport today in the Chennai International Airport. While 31 flights all over India from Chennai has been cancelled, main passengers travelling to Delhi, Mumbai and Chhattisgarh are the main places that the flights that have been cancelled. And there are also multiple delays throughout the day, and the airport authorities have cleared the doubts of the people, saying that if there is a delay, they will be allowed inside the airport and they would also be allowed to wait in the departure area inside the terminal, whereas the flights that have been cancelled get full refunds. And you can see the queue today, where yesterday not many people had come for taking refunds at the Chennai International Airport, trying to make sure that today whoever's flights cancelled, they are here trying to get their complete refunds from Indigo. And this is happening all over India with over 1,000 flights cancelled in the last 2 days. But as you can see, the Indigo officials here are trying to figure out the delays and the cancellations. While only 31 has been mentioned for today, it seems like multiple more delays will be there. Even the flights booked on Friday are said to be delayed till Saturday, and there are multiple more cancellations happening on the day. And we've also got to know that until December 8th, this will be the condition of the Indigo Airlines in the entire country, and not just related to one state. And with more updates coming from Chennai, it's expected that the Indigo flights will be cancelled in the next 3 days, and people are to get their refunds from the Indigo offices that are situated at the Chennai International Airport.
Same scenes are everywhere, viewers. Bengaluru Airport descended into utter pandemonium over the past few days as Indigo, India's largest airline, has been grappling with this crippling operational crisis, cancelling over 100 flights yesterday alone, comprising of 52 arrivals, 50 departures in Bengaluru. Frustrated flyers stormed counters, protested vehemently with heated arguments echoing through Terminal 1, decried the lack of clear communication and refunds and alternative arrangements, while soaring ticket prices for rival airlines turned a simple trip into a logistical ordeal, costing 43,000 rupees for short hauls. The chaos marked the 4th consecutive day of disruptions, underscoring deeper cracks in India's aviation infrastructure, leaving scars on holiday plans, professional itineraries alike.
Chaos on the floors of Bengaluru's Kempegowda Airport, where flight cancellations triggered long queues and louder frustration. Inside visuals tell the story. Passengers stranded, no clear communication, just growing anger as airlines struggled to manage the crowd. The passengers, in fact, went on to stage a protest inside Bengaluru Airport against the Indigo management. The crisis hit Indigo the hardest. Bengaluru alone saw 52 arrivals and 50 departures cancelled, a citywide travel freeze.
A young woman clutching her late father's ashes and later broke down. There's a picture that came in. In that small urn were the ashes of her father. As she was waiting at the airport, broke down into tears after learning that the family's scheduled flight to Delhi was cancelled. The family was en route to Haridwar for the religious ceremony and was informed by the airline staff that no alternative flights would be available for at least the next 3 days.
This isn't just Bengaluru. The aviation meltdown is spreading in Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, all witnessing disruptions. Yesterday as well, disruption was particularly severe with 73 flights being cancelled. Passengers who arrived hours in advance say they still missed flights, caught in long check-in lines, baggage delays, and near standstill security queues. Many have been forced to rebook for the next day or even later. With airport officials giving no clear updates, the wait already feels endless for hundreds of struck passengers.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
ये कहानी है बदलाव की, जिसने उन्हें हिम्मत दी, राह दिखाई और आत्मनिर्भर बनाया।
त्रिपुरा सरकार ने महिलाओं को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए कई परिकल्पनाएं शुरू की हैं, ताकि वो अपनी आजीविका खुद तय कर सके।
अब त्रिपुरा की महिलाएं हर क्षेत्र में अपनी निर्णायक भूमिका निभा रही है।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Security.
So that the inconvenience at the airports and the congestion that is happening because of these delays is reduced, and the backlog that we have for the last 2 days, the people who have been willing to travel and we have emergency in the travel, that has to be cleared off. So today, major focus has been put on reducing the backlogs that have been happening at the airports, and people can move around. And also, we have taken notice that the senior citizens, the differently abled people who are also facing certain challenges, we have engaged with all the airport operators and the airline operators also, and we have strictly instructed them from the ministry that topmost priority needs to be given to these passengers. Children, mothers, senior citizens, differently abled people, and also the passengers at large also. When it comes to their food, when it comes to water, or the additional accommodation that needs to be provided wherever necessary, we have instructed all the airport operators, all the people who are on the ground interacting with these passengers to be sympathetic, to be empathetic, to understand, and to use the right communicative language, because there is a lot of frustration also because of the delays, and people have been waiting for a huge amount of time at the airports also. So we have taken cognizance of that, and we have instructed the airport operators also to be taking full efforts, to put in full efforts so that the inconvenience of the passengers at the airports come down. Today we are seeing that the situation is getting better. The backlogs that have been there for the last 2 days, they have been cleared. Delhi, major airport, Mumbai and Chennai, most of the metro airports, they have been cleared and will be cleared by the evening also. From tomorrow, we are expecting normalcy to start, in the sense there won't be any congestion or there won't be any waiting at the airports. Whatever operations Indigo can start immediately, they will start it by doing it, and observing the how the operations are ongoing. They will slowly increase all their operations. And why this situation has happened also, we need to understand that from November 1st, 2025, the DGCA has come in with the new FDTL regulations, and this has been going on for quite some time. In April only it was decided that the new regulations are going to come from November. And we are seeing that we have, from the ministry, at least for the last 6 months, we have initiated a process of continuously engaging with the airlines. We are calling the airlines, we are meeting them, and we are discussing all the issues that need to be faced. And these were all which were out there in the open, and for the airlines also. And today, we have observed that the new FDTL regulations, they started in November, which was 1 month before itself. And through the last 1 month also, we have been observing, and things were pretty much not to the extent of this, but there was no issue regarding the new FDTL norms that was observed. And the second thing is that the other airlines, Air India or the Akasa or SpiceJet, they have all adjusted and they have done the necessary this thing. But here, what was unanticipated suddenly, which has boomed into this because of the mismanagement that has happened at the Indigo regarding their crew, that is why this incident has happened, which is why, to ensure normalcy is there at the earliest, we have given certain abeyance to the FDTL norms to Indigo. But on the other side, because we have observed this only in Indigo, so we have established a committee which will inquire into all this so that they can establish where things went wrong and who did it wrong. And we are going to take necessary action on that also. This thing shouldn't be left unattended. We are taking strict action on this so that whoever was responsible into this needs to pay for it.
Also, sir, we are witnessing that you are conducting continuous meeting. It's really hard work. We know that. So, what's your pipeline? Any other planning? Which the
immediate priority for us, like I said, is to bring normalcy back. Today in the country, if you are seeing, there are 5 lakh people traveling by air every day. There are very, very few countries in the world with so much big aviation network. And today we have that kind of network in the country. And there are more and more people every day preferring to travel by air. So as a minister, my immediate priority on behalf of the government is to ensure normalcy. And people who want to fly smoothly, conveniently. And the airports provide all the necessary facilities to them. So the immediate concern is to bring that back. Immediate concern is to provide all the support to the passengers at the airports, especially, like I mentioned, the senior citizens and the differently abled. That is the immediate one. But we are observing deeply into this system. We are seeing the scheduling network that is there. We are seeing the FDTL norms that are there. We are going to thoroughly look into it and ensure all the airlines follow the due diligence, because ultimately in aviation, no matter other networks, but aviation, we have to keep safety as a very important factor. We can't compromise on safety. That is the most important thing. So while we bring in new changes, while we expand our network, while we expand our fleet, the the passengers shouldn't feel that inconvenience, and especially the network that is being created has to have a very smooth flowing. So both long term and short term we have. Short term is to bring the normalcy. Long term we'll do further stakeholder consultation with everyone and ensure that proper implementation of the FTL guidelines, and ensuring everyone, there is a balance between all the necessary stakeholders is established. That will be one action item for us in the future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much to talk with ANI.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, that was K. Ram Mohan Naidu, our Civil Aviation Minister, giving the government's version. The fact remains that the government has effectively been blackmailed into softening its position on the FDTL norms, which were essentially about giving pilots a break so that there is some work-life balance, and thus takes care of flight safety norms. But then it seems that Indigo has had its way. Of course, the government has, along with its agencies like the CISF and the DGCA and the BCAS, tried to tackle the chaos at the airports, not of the making of the government, but obviously the government has to mop up the mess created by the airlines, a duopoly between Indigo and Air India, but in this case, essentially the mess created by Indigo, it seems. We have, of course, that's our prime focus, Shravan, right? It's been through the day, because of the kind of passenger inconvenience that's been caused to hundreds and thousands of people across the country. It's unpardonable, and we're not going to let go of the story. It's going to remain our primetime focus. But briefly coming out of it and going to another very important diplomatic powwow that has happened in the country with the visit of President of Russia, Vladimir Putin.
Hello and welcome. You're watching our special joint broadcast, Republic Media Network and Sputnik, over Russian President Vladimir Putin's historic visit to India. In fact, in a short while from now, that visit comes to an end. Over the next couple of minutes, we get you the finest experts, Abhishek, to decode the bilateral talks that have taken place, what's really been discussed on the negotiating table, and whether at all this visit of Vladimir Putin sends across the message that he essentially wants the West to hear.
And a joint statement has been released, Shravan, by both the sides, and I found it interesting that it's more important for the things it has not said. So silent on S-400, silent on Su-57, silent on many other aspects, silent even on the balance of trade. I mean, it does talk about the two countries focusing on economic relationship, keeping in mind 2030 targets, but it does not sort of, pin down the exact actions. I think that's going to be our focus over the next half an hour. All right, breaking news. Russia offers India localization of Su-57 fighter production. I mean, that's really a Russian offer, but the joint statement doesn't talk about it, Shravan. So let's get to our guests straight and ask them what's the deal.
Well, in fact, joining us on this special broadcast is Dimitri Simes. He's the head of Sputnik India. Dhairya Maheshwari, correspondent of Sputnik India. Larry Johnson, in fact, he's the former CIA analyst and US State Department official. Michael Walterson, he's the former Swedish politician and former air defense officer. I want to first begin by asking you, Dimitri, getting us that big breaking news as far as the offer coming in from Russia with regards to the Su-57. In fact, a special report, we're going to play that out in a short while from now. But the big takeaways from the bilateral talks that have taken place, Dimitri.
So let me just start with the breaking news. This was a statement made by the head of Russian defense conglomerate Rostec on Russian television. He said that as part of the talks in New Delhi, the Russian side offered to fully localize production of the Su-57 in India. Now he said that the Indian side is going to look over, think it over, and get back to the Russian side. So there is no Su-57 deal this time. But it was always going to be highly unlikely given how complex of a project a joint production of a fifth generation fighter jet would be. Nevertheless, it's clear that the ball is moving on this. But what I do want to draw attention is to something else he said. He said that Russia and India have also begun localizing Russian drone production in India. And in particular, he mentioned the Lancet kamikaze drone. And now for your viewers, the Lancet is one of Russia's most decorated and combat-tested drones. It has been used numerous times on the battlefield in Ukraine, and according to independent estimates, it has destroyed over $12 billion worth of Ukrainian and Western armor since the start of the conflict in February 2022. So if they get the ball moving on this could be very significant because this would be the first international customer of Russia's Lancet drones.
Right. Right, but, Dimitri and Darya, if I could go to Darya first. You have been there on the ground, Darya, keeping track of all these meetings that took place. I don't see any big takeaway except for, just sort of doing a proper, well-rounded 360-degree appraisal of the relationship. Do you get a sense that maybe this was actually the plan because an annual summit has to happen? There is the format that exists between the two sides. So the president came and the two sides did a full 360-degree review of the relationship and left it there.
Well, having heard the briefings of the Indian Foreign Ministry, the statements made by Prime Minister Modi, President Putin at the India-Russia Forum, at the opening statements, the focus of the visit, as we have been discussing, has been economic cooperation, bolstering economic cooperation, negotiating a speedily concluded India-Eurasia Free Trade Agreement, removing non-tariff barriers, and more on, on the untapped potential of India's economy to service Russia's domestic needs. And as you could see, one of the outcomes relates to the Economic Framework Agreement 2030, which is expected to, achieve the $100 billion trade target. And Prime Minister Modi also made an interesting statement during his speech at the India-Russia Trade Forum, which is that both the sides will be able to achieve the $100 billion trade target much before the 2030 deadline that had been set last year. So essentially, what this visit has done, it has laid the groundwork of, further expanding trade, and which will be anchored in bolstering India's exports to Russia. And Prime Minister Modi, during his speech, he also mentioned the sectors which will be in focus. These are IT exports, pharmaceuticals, textiles, India's marine products. And as Foreign Secretary Misri pointed out during his briefing, there was a considerable discussion on this. So the focus has been on economic cooperation, how to bolster India's exports. And even President Putin and, Russian business leaders who attended the India-Russia Forum, there is a recognition from the Russian side that sustaining long-term economic engagement between the both sides, it can't happen if, the trade numbers remain lopsided, so much lopsided in favor of Russia. The balance has to be achieved. Right. And there's a recognition here, yeah.
Yeah. Let me also bring in Larry here. Larry, what's very interesting from the pictures that basically emerged from the last 2 days? One, of course, with Prime Minister Modi going to the Palam Technical Airport to receive President Putin, and then the picture, the image of Prime Minister Modi and President Putin in that same vehicle. Many would say that if someone is actually responsible for bringing the two leaders so very close, and perhaps even China, is Washington. Washington perhaps is responsible for bringing the two leaders close. Of course, both the countries have enjoyed a fantastic relationship, but bringing them and cementing the relationship further is because of what really Washington has essentially done. Do you think Washington will have a rethink of how they've dealt with India?
Short answer is no. The United States has been bullying India. The leadership in the United States fails to understand this relationship between India and Russia, it's been going on for a long time. Look, I'm old enough to remember, back into the early 70s. At the time, actually, my wife traveled on a winter term, a college term, for a month to India, and she stayed with the family of Bandura Shastri, who had the former prime minister, and he had died the previous year in Russia. So this relationship between India and Russia is not new, but what is new is that the United States assumed that it had enough economic leverage over India that we could threaten you with sanctions. We could tell you what to do. You got to stop trading with Russia, and that you'd behave yourselves. It's just a new manifestation of the kind of colonialism that shackled India for several years until you caught your freedom in the aftermath of World War II. It's really a new form of colonialism.
All right, Larry, in fact, before I go to Michael Walterson, I want to play out that soundbite of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in which he mentioned about a possible Indian role in ending the war in Europe, and that India is not neutral, India is on the side of peace. Prime Minister said this with Vladimir Putin standing by his side.
Friends, आज हमने क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक मुद्दों पर भी चर्चा की। यूक्रेन के संबंध में भारत ने शुरुआत से शांति का पक्ष रखा है। हम इस विषय के शांतिपूर्ण और स्थायी समाधान के लिए किए जा रहे सभी प्रयासों का स्वागत करते हैं। भारत सदैव अपना योगदान देने के लिए तैयार रहा है और आगे भी रहेगा।
All right, Mr. Walterson, that was Prime Minister Modi speaking in Hindi and mentioning how India will do everything or would want to do anything and everything that needs to be done to bring peace in Europe. There has been a bit of a disquiet in European capitals about President Putin's visit to New Delhi. Three of the ambassadors from Europe, of Germany, France, and United Kingdom, in fact, wrote an op-ed just on the eve of President Putin's arrival, sort of warning India and suggesting that maybe Europe would be angry. What's your sense now? A sense of relief, perhaps, that nothing major came out of the meeting here in New Delhi between the two sides?
Well, I'm not quite sure that the Europeans feel that way, because they, as the Americans, view India as a country that they want to get to their side, not to be a neutral or have a good relations with Russia. And of course, they can be a little bit relieved that there was no arms deal agreement, and we haven't heard much about oil. But I believe that the arms agreement can come in the near future. Putin and Modi can't discuss details in an arms agreement. It's a very big deal. For example, buying the Su-57 is a very complex and long-term engagement. So it must be discussed further. But the Europeans did a big mistake, exactly as Mr. President Trump, when the ambassadors tried to interfere in India's relations with third-party countries. Ambassadors are supposed to try to strengthen relations between their own countries and the host country, not to tell the host country who they can have good relations with.
Michael, in fact, the Prime Minister once again reiterating the point that he has made right from the beginning of the war in Ukraine, and that is India being on the side of peace. But having said that, in fact, Abhishek, I was actually seeing the response that has really come in from the European side. In fact, it hasn't been really taken well, given the fact that you've had many commentators essentially raising this entire point about Russian President Vladimir Putin. But interestingly,
Michael seems to be okay with that. But yeah,
interestingly, this is exactly what the Prime Minister had to say about the ongoing war in Ukraine.
Well,
आज हमने क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक मुद्दों पर भी चर्चा की। यूक्रेन के संबंध में भारत ने शुरुआत से शांति का पक्ष रखा है। हम इस विषय के शांतिपूर्ण और स्थायी समाधान के लिए किए जा रहे सभी प्रयासों का स्वागत करते हैं। भारत सदैव अपना योगदान देने के लिए तैयार रहा है और आगे भी रहेगा।
Dimitri, as far as the roadmap is concerned, many would have said that why is it that India hasn't taken this entire position of mediation? Because other countries have given it a shot. Turkey has done it, China has done it. But India, for some reason, barring the statements that have really been made, there hasn't been a further role that has been played as far as the mediation role is concerned. How does Russia essentially view this? Does Russia essentially see India perhaps the most neutral partner here and could actually play a pivotal role in bringing an end to the war?
So, earlier this week, Sputnik India hosted a press briefing by Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, and he was asked about India's peace efforts. He said that, first of all, Russia was very appreciative of the fact that India was trying to do what it could to help move the conflict closer to an end. But he also said that the key difference that he saw between India and Europe was that the Indians were actually interested in listening to what Russia had to say. Obviously, India has its own position. It's a sovereign country. It's a great power. It's an ancient civilization. It will make its own decisions. But at the same time, it is willing to respect the perspective of another country. That's not something that Russia has encountered when dealing with the Europeans. The Europeans have a very maximalist perspective where it's my way or the highway. And this makes it extremely difficult to end the Ukraine conflict. Because even if Donald Trump manages to get everyone in the American political elite to rally around him and the Americans stop supporting Ukraine, the Europeans will keep putting fuel on the fire. The Europeans see the Ukraine conflict as a way of maintaining their broader global geopolitical relevance. So what I'm afraid is that even when you have well-meaning countries like India, when you have countries in the global south that would like a sustainable peace deal to occur, the Europeans are going to sabotage it.
All right. Let me now take the next question to Larry. Larry, you have been a CIA analyst. I don't know how come the American strategic community does not appreciate the fact that the more you push Russia, you are actually pushing Russia into the lap of Beijing, into the lap of Xi Jinping. In that sense, by hosting President Putin in New Delhi and by rolling the red carpet, you think that India has really helped the West in sort of this great power balance by keeping Russia, not fully falling into the lap of Beijing somehow?
Well, the relationship between Russia and India is an adult, mature relationship. They're not like a couple of teenagers on just a quick
All
infatuation.
the teenagers seem to be in Europe, Larry.
Yeah, but this is a rejection. This visit is if you will, a rejection of Donald Trump's attempt to bully and coerce India. And it reflects, look, unfortunately right now in my country, there is incredible ignorance about India, about Russia, about China. The assumption was that the false mistaken belief is that India was so dependent upon the U.S. market that we could threaten you and that you would have to submit. Well, this is simply not the case. The United States is actually not that consequential for the Indian economy, which is actually, probably the strongest economy today, followed by that of China in the world. So, Putin is continuing the relationship of treating India as an equal, not as some subordinate, not as some colony that has to be, carefully controlled. It comes, this is what makes the Russian approach so radically different from that of the United States. Russia proceeds from an assumption that your country is just as good as his country, and that you have to treat each other with respect. And so this is what we're witnessing here with India, with China, because I know President Putin puts a high priority on ensuring that the relationship between China and India becomes stronger, that the prospect of war disappears, because you're creating a new world economic and political order. And I think President Putin would believe and agree, India should be sitting at the United Nations Security Council with veto power, not England, not France, but India.
Well, thank you very much, Larry. I'll just take that one final question from Dharia before we end our joint broadcast here. Dharia, in terms of what next, because some key issues, as Abhishek was also pointing out, wasn't really on the table this time, particularly how do you really look at bumping up the oil, import itself? And the fact of the matter is that there are major hurdles that Indian oil companies would face. That did not surface in the joint statement itself. And of course, the defense deals being another major headache for Russia at this stage, whether at all they would be in a position to deliver this on time. What's expected in the coming few months?
Well, it's a 70-paragraph joint statement. I think it's one of the longest statements. That India-Russia joint statements are always long, which shows the the breadth of the relationship. In terms of energy cooperation, there's a mention about India appreciating Russia's role in energy supplies, be it LPG or oil and gas. And there is a mention of that. And there is also, we know that Indian oil companies that are invested in Russia, that own Rosneft-linked assets, they are unable to repatriate, their profits back after the sanctions on Rosneft and Lukoil were announced. So there's also a mention of developing resilient payment systems. And we also Sputnik India spoke to Sberbank CEO yesterday, and he says that 80% of the trade is happening in national currencies, which is taking less than 10% of total time. So there is an effort towards addressing this discrepancy or obstruction in trade. I would also like to point out that there are subtle references to Trump's tariffs in the joint statement, because it mentions about WTO playing a central role, which both India and Russia do support, addressing tariff and non-tariff barriers. There's a mention about, Global South, because we know that the US has assumed the presidency of G20, and the plan that has been put out, it makes no mention of Global South priorities, which has been, an ongoing effort by the last three presidencies of India, South Africa. So there is a subtle message for Trump. And as far as China is concerned, there's a message on terrorism, which terrorism has a heavy focus in this joint statement. Around 29 references to terrorism have been made, and the double standards in combating terrorism have been called out. So definitely, that would be the response to your question. Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us on this special broadcast. In fact, let me also take the opportunity, Abhishek, to thank the entire team of Sputnik for helping us elevate our entire coverage of this historic visit of Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Which, by the way, is still going on. The presidential banquet for the president is still on, and should be over soon, after which the president flies out of the Parliament technical area.
Well, that's all that we have had in this special broadcast. Coming up, 10 images that exactly define the biggest aviation crisis that India faces. Coming up next.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा। रूंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रूंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
सिक्योरिटी एक सेकंड बोलो सेकंड को अंदर देख रहे हो सुनो भैया बीच में कौन दूसरा यार 5 सेकंड ही होता उससे ज्यादा सिक्योरिटी
From the hallowed chambers of the Supreme Court of India, the law roars louder, real, fearless, historic. The first Buddhist Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai, unshaken in conviction. This weekend on the legal side of things, only on Republic TV.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, राजा प्योर मसाला।
मुस्कुराए लड़खड़ाए जिंदगी, चाहे जो भी हो।
सर, पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा रूम प्रेफर करेंगे आप?
जिंदगी भर के प्यार का कोई रेट कार्ड नहीं होता। टाटा AIG हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, विद यू लाइक फैमिली, विद यू ऑलवेज।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबे
Government gives in to pressure from Indigo. Another backtrack after duopoly defiance. Is government compromising passenger safety? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
It's the fourth consecutive day when a number of cancellations have taken place, resulting in passengers left in a lurch. Multiple cancellations that have been reported from New Delhi, Mumbai, as well as Bengaluru. And not just that, not limited just to the major cities. In this widely shared clip, what you can see is an angry passenger, a foreigner who was left stranded. In fact, led to a situation where she was desperate to get an audience from the airline. But in response, the airline had a templated response altogether. As you can see from this particular image on your screens right now, what you can clearly see is the frontline staff members of the airline who've had to bear the brunt of the mismanagement of Indigo, resulting in with no answers being given to passengers. Similar sort of a situation panned out almost everywhere, not just in Mumbai, but also in other places. But first, take a look at what really happened this evening when this passenger was desperately seeking for help. There has been palpable anger among the passengers, but rather than really resolving the issues for the passengers, it seems that the Ministry of Civil Aviation has largely resolved the problem for Indigo. The reason why I'm saying this is because in the meeting that was chaired by the Civil Aviation Ministry, Indigo essentially indicated that the result of this chaos was because of the FDTL norms that were basically brought in. And interestingly, the FDTL norms was actually introduced back in 2024. The full rollout actually happened only in the month of November. The airline blamed the current chaos because of these FDTL norms that were essentially brought in. And soon after that meeting, DGCA has essentially rolled back. The demand that was made by Indigo was actually fulfilled. This is what the Civil Aviation Minister had to say.
In fact, from December 3rd, since when the Indigo has been facing major operational issues, and because of which there have been a lot of delays and cancellations, the Ministry of Civil Aviation has been actively on the ground engaging with all the necessary stakeholders for two things. One, for passenger care, comfort and convenience. We want to reduce all the inconvenience that the passengers are facing at the airports. And two, we want to ensure safe operations in the country also. This two priority, the ministry has been thoroughly engaging from day one. So in the initial, when we have seen a lot of delays happening with the Indigo operations, then we have engaged with them. We have told them to take all the necessary steps to ensure normalcy within the next 2 days. And yesterday we have also seen major delays happening because of that. But we changed the pattern today. We have went into the mode. We have instructed the Indigo to cancel major operations so that the inconvenience at the airports and the congestion that is happening because of these delays is reduced. And the backlog that we have for the last 2 days, the people who have been willing to travel and we have emergency in the travel, that has to be cleared off. So today, major focus has been put on reducing the backlogs that have been happening at the airports and people can move around. And also, we have taken notice that the senior citizens, the differently abled people who are also facing certain challenges, we have engaged with all the airport operators and the airline operators also, and we have strictly instructed them from the ministry that topmost priority needs to be given to these passengers. Children, mothers, senior citizens, differently abled people, and also the passengers at large also. When it comes to their food, when it comes to water or the additional accommodation that needs to be provided wherever necessary, we have instructed all the airport operators, all the people who are on the ground interacting with these passengers to be sympathetic, to be empathetic, to understand and to use the right communicative language, because there is a lot of frustration also because of the delays and people have been waiting for a huge amount of time at the airports also. So we have taken cognizance of that and we have instructed the airport operators also to be taking full efforts, to put in full efforts so that the inconvenience of the passengers at the airports come down. Today we are seeing that the situation is getting better. The backlogs that have been there for the last 2 days, they have been cleared. Delhi, major airport, Mumbai and Chennai, most of the metro airports, they have been cleared and will be cleared by the evening also. From tomorrow, we are expecting normalcy to start, in the sense there won't be any congestion or there won't be any waiting at the airports. Whatever operations Indigo can start immediately, they will start it by doing it and observing the how the operations are ongoing. They will slowly increase all their operations. And why this situation has happened also, we need to understand that from November 1st, 2025, the DGCA has come in with the new FDTL regulations, and this has been going on for quite some time. In April only it was decided that the new regulations are going to come from November. And we are seeing that we have, from the ministry, at least for the last 6 months, we have initiated a process of continuously engaging with the airlines. We are calling the airlines, we are meeting them, and we are discussing all the issues that need to be faced. And these were all which were out there in the open and for the airlines also. And today, we have observed that the new FDTL regulations, they started in November, which was 1 month before itself. And through the last 1 month also, we have been observing, and things were pretty much not to the extent of this, but there was no issue regarding the new FDTL norms that was observed. And the second thing is that the other airlines, Air India or the Akasa or SpiceJet, they have all adjusted and they have done the necessary this thing. But here, what was unanticipated suddenly, which has boomed into this because of the mismanagement that has happened at the Indigo regarding their crew, that is why this incident has happened, which is why, to ensure normalcy is there at the earliest, we have given certain abeyance to the FDTL norms to Indigo. But on the other side, because we have observed this only in Indigo, so we have established a committee which will inquire into all this so that they can establish where things went wrong and who did it wrong. And we are going to take necessary action on that also. This thing shouldn't be left unattended. We are taking strict action on this so that whoever was responsible into this needs to pay for it.
Also, sir, we are witnessing that you are conducting continuous meeting. It's
Yes.
really hard work. We know that. So, what's your pipeline? Any other planning? Which you are
The immediate priority for us, like I said, is to bring normalcy back. Today in the country, if you are seeing, there are 5 lakh people traveling by air every day. There are very, very few countries in the world with so much big aviation network. And today we have that kind of network in the country. And there are more and more people every day preferring to travel by air. So as a minister, my immediate priority on behalf of the government is to ensure normalcy, and people who want to fly smoothly, conveniently, and the airports provide all the necessary facilities to them. So the immediate concern is to bring that back. Immediate concern is to provide all the support to the passengers at the airports, especially, like I mentioned, the senior citizens and the differently abled. That is the immediate one. But we are observing deeply into this system. We are seeing the scheduling network that is there. We are seeing the FTTL norms that are there. We are going to thoroughly look into it and ensure all the airlines follow the due diligence, because ultimately in aviation, no matter other networks, but aviation, we have to keep safety as a very important factor. We can't compromise on safety. That is the most important thing. So while we bring in new changes, while we expand our network, while we expand our fleet, the passengers shouldn't feel that inconvenience, and especially the network that is being created has to have a very smooth flowing. So both long term and short term we have. Short term is to bring the normalcy. Long term we'll do further stakeholder consultation with everyone and ensure that proper implementation of the FTL guidelines, and ensuring everyone, there is a balance between all the necessary stakeholders is established. That will be one action item for us in the future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much to talk with ANI.
Thank you so much.
Well, in fact, these are some images that we have essentially seen panning out through the day from various airports. Now, one of the most surreal scenes to come out of this ordeal features a couple who were basically supposed to be celebrating one of the biggest days of their lives, their wedding reception. Instead, they are attending the event on Zoom. The husband even laughs it off, saying he needs to log in to his own wedding. While the moment has gone massively viral, it is also a painfully telling story. These cancellations aren't just inconveniences, they're also blowing apart milestone moments, family gatherings, and carefully planned celebrations. Now, this video has gone viral. Cutting across to some of the live images now coming in. This is the banquet reception that's going to take place in a short while from now. President Putin has arrived at Rashtrapati Bhavan, being welcomed by President Draupadi Murmu. In fact, a state banquet is going to take place. This is exactly going to last for about a little over 40 minutes. This is the last on the itinerary of President Putin before he takes off from the national capital after a very successful meeting that has taken place, the bilateral talks that took place with Prime Minister Modi earlier today, and of course in the Russia-India Business Forum, where a strategic roadmap has been formed in terms of what exactly both the countries would be looking at in the days to come, in the months to come, particularly in terms of enhancing bilateral trade. Both the countries have essentially indicated that they want to touch the 100 billion trade mark. Now, that's an ambitious plan that both the countries have, especially for India, given the fact that there is a lopsided balance sheet that if you're really looking at. But having said that, the 17-page joint statement largely looks into some of the key issues, especially energy cooperation being one such, and fight against terrorism, where Russia has always played a major role in backing India, right from the time of India-Pakistan war, to the fact that even after Pahalgam, the kind of support that has come in from the Russians, they've been steadfastly standing with India. Remember these images now coming in. It's a short clip of President Putin arriving at Rashtrapati Bhavan and meeting President Draupadi Murmu, where, remember, there's going to be a state banquet. All top leaders are also going to be present there. There's also politics really peeking over the visit of President Putin, and domestic politics also taking place over some opposition leaders essentially complaining that the government did not extend an invite to them. But one opposition leader, Shashi Tharoor, has already been called in for the dinner that is going to take place, the banquet that is being hosted by President Murmu, where the invite has gone to some of the opposition members also. On your screens right now, these are the latest images coming in from the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and we'll try and see if we can go across to some of our reporters who are also there. In fact, Rakshita was there a short while back. We'll try and see if we can get her on board and to get you the latest images that have essentially come in a short while back. It's a very short clip, once again, of President Putin just reaching there. We're expecting the full-length images to come in a short while from now, in terms of once you would have actually seen President Murmu essentially introducing President Putin to the other leaders. Business leaders are also expected to be a part of this banquet that is being hosted by President Murmu. Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition. In a short while from now, coming up, the big debate with Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami.
Airlines unable to handle pro-pilot regulation. DGCA caves in under airline pressure. Aviation duopoly takes passengers